What is up YouTube, AuxOwl here. Normally this is the series where I showcase the best attachments for weapons starting from level 1 all the way up to max level. But today's episode on the low level class progression guides is a special one. We'll be going over the whole Lachmann Meer platform progression. All of the builds I will show you will use the native attachments unlocked through leveling the Lachmann Meer platform weapons. First, we'll begin with the Lachmann 762, then the Lachmann 556, the Lachmann sub is next, the LMS follows, and last but not least, the Rapp. Let's get started. The Lachmann 762 is one of those special weapons that actually does more damage in semi-auto than in full auto. It's about a one-shot difference. So keeping that in mind, you'll actually have a quicker time to kill in semi-auto than in full auto. If you don't want to go into semi-auto, then don't worry, I will give you an alternative build, that way you can stay in full auto. At level 2, the Lachmann 762 unlocks the optic slot, in which you'll put on whatever your favorite one is. I really enjoy the Slimline Pro, so I will be putting that on, but anything that you like, you can use. Then at level 3, we unlock a barrel that we're not going to use, but at level 4, we do unlock a good stock, the Meer Recoil 56 factory stock, which we should be putting on this at level 4. This stock slightly hurts our aim down sight speed, but don't worry about that so much because the recoil control will be very useful. The first to the second shot jump a lot for this weapon, so we want to control that a little bit. Sadly, the Lachmann 762 actually doesn't really have any good unlocks from level 4 all the way up to level 11. If you put on any of these attachments, honestly the weapon might be a little bit worse off than it was beforehand. But at level 11, we actually unlock a good one where we get the Lachmann TCG-10 rear grip. We'll be using that from now on to control that little bit of recoil, and the best part about this one is that it doesn't hurt our ADS speeds. So put on the Lachmann TCG-10 at level 11. Next, we unlock at level 13 the Lachmann 556 receiver. I'm gonna skip this right now to get all the way up to max level for the Lachmann 762 because I assume that's what you want to do to unlock those camos. So the next notable attachment is at level 15 where we unlock the 10-round magazine. Keeping in mind that if you want to run this weapon in semi-auto, this is what you should be using because you don't need that many bullets. Using the 10-round magazine at level 15 will help your ADS times a lot, your sprint to fire speed, and it'll help keep you a little bit more mobile. So it's very useful if all you're trying to do is level up this weapon and have the best build you possibly can with the native attachments. Now, having the 10-round magazine equipped means that we have a little bit more freedom to put on some other attachments like an undergrip. Earlier in the leveling process, you unlocked the FTAC Ripper 56, and we didn't put it on because it would hurt the ADS times a lot. It would hurt it way too much for it to be useful until now. So at level 15, put on the FTAC Ripper 56 to help with that recoil that you might encounter and make this weapon super easy to use. This is how the weapon will look like if you want to keep using it in semi-auto. And all you do if you want to use this weapon in full auto is just take off the FTAC Ripper 56 and the 10-round magazine. You don't really want to be using too many other attachments on this weapon because it kind of just makes it worse. And I found this to be the ideal compromise in between recoil and ADS times for the full auto version of the Lachmann 762. If you want to use the best possible, then we go back to the FTAC Ripper 56 and the 10-round magazine, of course. The next notable unlock is at level 17, where you get the LMS receiver, but of course, we're not going to use this right now. We're going to continue on to max level, where at level 19, you get the weapon tuning. Now, the way that I like to tune the 762 is by putting my optic all the way up to far, as usual. The stock, I like to reduce the weight on the left-hand side down to as close as you can get it to negative 2.6 for better aim down sight speed. Next, the rear grip, I really like to get the recoil steadiness up, so increase the weight up to as close as you possibly can to 0.40 ounces. And lastly, decrease the width to negative 0.35 inches for the better sprint to fire speed. Lastly, for the underbarrel, I really like to increase the weight up to about plus 0.6 ounces. And with this tuning, you have the best possible Lachmann 762 with the native attachments that you can use to unlock all those camos. I hope you like it. Next up on the platform, we have the Lachmann 556, which has extremely low recoil, but the slowest reload speed that you're gonna find. So it needs fast hands as a perk because it's easy to get caught reloading. But that's just a tip. We're here for the attachments. We begin with the unlock of the underbarrel at level 2. Now, previously on the Lachmann 762, we unlocked the FTAC Ripper 56, so we can use that now to help with the already super low recoil. So at level 2, we put on the FTAC Ripper 56 underbarrel. Then at level 3, we unlock the Rapp 762 factory stock. We want to put that on immediately because it helps with our aiming stability, but most importantly, it doesn't hurt our ADS times. And believe it or not, aiming stability is really useful for your recoil control. So this is a great early attachment. We'll replace it later, but for now, put on the Rapp 762 factory stock at level 3. At level 4, we unlock the ability to put on a favorite optic. In my case, it's a Slimline Pro, but you can put on whatever else you want. Then we skip a whole bunch of levels. We skip 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At level 10, we actually unlock the tactical grip. Now, for some reason, it's a little bugged and it doesn't tell you what that grip actually is, but it is the LMK LMK64 grip. We want to put that on at level 10 as soon as you unlock it because it helps with our sprint to fire speed and our aim down sight speed. It'll hurt our recoil control a little bit, but we already put on a really good underbarrel and the Lachmann 556 already has a really low amount of recoil, so this is 100% worth it. Then at level 11 we unlock the Lachmann S9 factory stock. We'll be replacing the Rapp 762 stock with that because it helps with our aim walking speed and our aim down sight speed. Aim walking speed is important to be able to strafe while you aim down sight. So at level 11 the Lachmann S9 factory stock. Next at level 12 we unlock the Lachmann sub receiver. This is one of the best submachine guns in the game, but we're gonna skip it for now until we finish up the Lachmann 556. Now we skip 13, 14, and 15, and 16 you actually unlock the Rapp H, which we will go over as the last weapon. So we skip 17 and move on to 18, where we unlock the Kamado heavy muzzle. This muzzle helps us counteract all of the issues that we encountered with the recoil by putting on the stock and the grip, and it also doesn't hurt our aim down sight speed that much. The Lachmann 556 barely has any vertical recoil, so really all we have to worry about is actually the horizontal recoil. So let's put on the Kamado heavy muzzle at level 18, and we skip level 19, and finally we reach the max level for the Lachmann 556 where we unlock the weapon tuning. To tune the Lachmann 556 we're going to be putting the optic too far as usual. Then for the stock we want to tune the weight down to negative 2.0 ounces, or as close as you can get it to that. Then for the rear grip, the LMK64, we want to tune the weight to the positive side to 0.35 ounces, or as close as you can get it to that. Then on the bottom side, for the sprint to fire speed, we want to tune the width down to negative 0.15 inches. We move on to the underbarrel, where we up the recoil stabilization up to 0.20 ounces. And last but not least, on the muzzle, we just care about the weight, where we turn it down to 0.45 ounces, or as close as you can get it to that, for a better aim down sight speed. Now this is the best native attachment combination for the Lachmann 556, where we minimize the negatives and optimize the positives. I hope you enjoyed this class. Let me know how it did for you. The next weapon on the Lachmann platform is the Lachmann sub. Even without any attachments, you'll really enjoy this weapon. But that's not what we're here for. Let's begin with our level 2 unlock, which is the underbarrel, where you can't use any native underbarrels yet, so we don't really have to worry about it, and we skip everything up until level 4, where we unlock the rear grip category. Once you're level 4, we want to put on the Lachmann TCG10 that we unlocked way earlier on because it helps our recoil control and it doesn't hurt our ADS times. Then the next notable attachment on the unlock tree is at level 6, where we can finally put on an optic, and as you might have guessed by now, you want to put on whatever favorite optic that you actually have, in my case the Slimline Pro. Then we skip a few levels up until level 9, where we get the Lock Grip Precision 40 underbarrel. It reduces our recoil in an already low recoil weapon, and it doesn't hurt our ADS times that much. This is also a weapon that you might want to hit fire with, and this underbarrel helps you with just that. Then only one more level away, we unlock the Lockshot KT85 muzzle. This muzzle is actually amazing for this gun, and again, it doesn't hurt our ADS times that much. So let's put on the Lockshot KT85 muzzle at level 10. Then one more level after that, we are finally able to unlock my favorite optic. So if you have not had the chance to try this out yet, go ahead. I swear you will not regret it. You can see everything that you ever want to see with it, and who knows, maybe you like it for just about every other weapon in this game. Then at level 14, we unlock the 40 round magazine. This is an optional attachment where if you find yourself running out of ammo often, then you want to use it. Otherwise, this slows down your ADS times way too much, so I don't use it. But you have the option to, and I do suggest it if you feel like you need more ammo. Then we skip everything else up until level 19, which is the max level where we get the weapon tuning. You will never guess how I like to tune my optic, where we put it all the way up to far. This really helps with our visual recoil. It doesn't change our actual recoil, but it helps our visual recoil on the gun. We don't have a stock on this one, so we don't have to worry about tuning it, but next it's the rear grip, where we try to get the weight up to as close as you possibly can to 0.60 ounces to help out our recoil steadiness. And on the sprint to fire speed side, we want to try to turn down the width by negative 0.1 inches. Next, this is gonna sound really weird, but we want to turn down the length of the underbarrel to about negative 0.7 inches. It's a very specific number, but if you pay attention to the graph how it moves, you'll see why that is. And lastly, for the muzzle, we want to tune down the weight to about negative 0.60 ounces, or as close as you can get it to that. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed this native class for the Lachmann sub. Let me know in the comments down below if you did, because this is just about my favorite weapon in this game. Now let's move on to something a little bit less special, the LMS. I really think that this is the most annoying weapon in the platform to actually level up, and it's really only good if you consistently hit the head, because it is a one-shot headshot. Thankfully, there's only 13 levels on this thing, so you don't really have to do too much. First, the LMS only has 10 rounds, so as soon as you get to level 3, we want to change that by putting on the 15 round magazine. This will slow our aim down sight speed, but it's definitely definitely worth it for the trade-off of actually having 5 more bullets, which you'll definitely need on this one. Then at level 4, we get the ability to put on an optic, which I highly recommend on this one. And of course, I definitely think you should put on the Slimline Pro, especially now that you've definitely unlocked it if you didn't have it before. The next notable attachment is at level 7, where we get the ability to put on a stock. For the stock, we'll actually put on the Lachmann S76 factory stock. This helps with our much needed aim down sight speed. So at level 7, Lachmann S76 factory stock. There is a bit of a glitch with the unlock tree, so if you don't have the Lachmann S76 factory stock for some reason, then you want to put on the Meer Recoil 56 factory stock. But if you do have it, definitely put this one on. Next, we're going to be skipping a few levels up until you reach level 11, where we put on the Lachmann TCG10 rear grip. We really gotta control the recoil on this thing, so this is a much needed attachment. Now at level 12, we're basically almost done with the weapon, and this is when we unlock the best attachment that you can get for it, the Lachmann Nova barrel. This is a nice short barrel that helps with our end-on sight speed, so put on the Lachmann Nova barrel at level 12. And this is essentially it for the LMS, because weapon level 13 is the maximum where we get the weapon tuning. Now I found that tuning the LMS is actually really not that useful. In fact, it might hurt the weapon a little bit more than it should because of its subpar stats. So all that I would really recommend is tuning the optic to be in the far position. If you want to tune any of the other ones, go ahead, but just know that it's really not worth the time. I really hope this class gets you through all the levels and through whatever camo challenge that you're working on. And last but not least, on the Lachmann Meer platform, we have the Rapp H. This is one of my favorite LMGs, but just like all of them, the ADS time is horrible, so we'll definitely have to work on that. First up, on the attachments, we actually ignore level 2 because that's actually exactly how many rounds the gun comes with initially. Then at level 3, we get the ability to put on underbarrels, but this would actually slow down our ADS times much more than we ever needed to, because it's already slow enough. Next one, at level 4, we actually do want to use, which would be the 10.6 inch lock strike barrel. This actually happens to be one of the few barrels that doesn't hurt our recoil while it helps our aim down sight speed. So this is essential for the Rapp H. Put it on at level 4. Then at level 5, we get the ability to put on a rear grip. For this one, we definitely want to be using the LMK64 grip. The Rapp H already has a really low amount of recoil, so we don't need to worry about that. All we need to worry about is the sprint to fire speed and the aim down sight speed. So put on the LMK64 grip at level 5. At level 6, you get the ability to put on an optic, and of course, I will be using the Slimline Pro. You could use whatever you want. The next notable attachment is at level 9, where we get the muzzles. For the muzzle, we'll be using the good old Lockshot KT85 that we unlocked earlier. The Rapp H already has really low recoil, but guess what is better than low recoil? Almost no recoil, at the cost of just a tiny bit of aim down sight speed. But this trade is definitely worth it for the amount of pros that it gives you. Then at level 10, we unlock the perfect attachment to counteract what we just did. We get the FT Mobile stock. This is the stock that we definitely want to use at level 10 because it helps with your aim down sight speed, our sprint speed, and our aim walking speed. Of course, at the cost of a little bit of recoil control, but that Lockshot KT85 muzzle that we just put on actually counteracts that and more. At level 10, the FT Mobile stock. Next, we don't really have any good attachments, but at level 14, you unlock a different muzzle, and I actually enjoy the pattern that the Sakin Tread 40 gives you. It's more or less about the same amount of recoil control that the Lockshot KT85 gives you, but this one makes it feel a little bit better to me. You could test yourself between these two and see which one you enjoy more, but we'll be going with the Sakin Tread 40 at level 14. Then as we continue leveling the Rapp H, you'll notice that nothing else is really useful here, up until the weapon tuning, of course, at the max level. With this one, we'll begin once again by tuning the optic to be as far as possible from your eye. Then for the stock, we want to tune the weight to be as close as possible to negative 1.10 ounces. Again, we really want to concentrate here on aim down sight speed. Then for the rear grip, this is another one of those weapons where it's very specific to what you want to tune it to. So on the weight side, we want to increase it to positive 0.42 ounces specifically. This actually gave a better effect than having aim down sight speed. And then on the bottom side for the width, we want to actually reduce the width to negative 0.18 inches. Then we'll be tuning the muzzle and reduce its weight down to 0.44 ounces towards aim down sight speed. And lastly, the barrel we want to tune to increase the weight up to positive 0.40 pounds. And finally, at the bottom side, on the length, we want to decrease it down to negative 0.20 inches. Now the numbers for the tuning have been a little bit specific, but it just so happens to be that that's how the tuning graph wants it. The Rapp H is actually a really good light machine gun, and I really hope you enjoy using this class with its native attachments. This video took a lot of effort, so I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like and subscribe button. And if this goes well, I can continue with these platform videos in the future. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see y'all in the next one. AuxOwl out. Come on, Timmy. Why do you like scratching the box so much? I can hear you a room away. I wonder if my mic actually picks that up. Why am I even talking to myself? My cat doesn't understand me. I only have about 3 more weapons to go, so I kinda need you to go.